This video is brought to you by Parks and Power. In part 1, we heard from Roxanne on the NPRB's targeted behavior towards Northsiders in the North Minneapolis EAB issue. In this video, we'll hear from Roxanne's mother, Amoke, in the story of her experience with the NPRB condemning her ash trees.
January 8th, 2021, January 15th, there's a man in my backyard. I couldn't tell where he came from because I didn't see a truck. I just saw a man behind my tree and yelled at him and said, what are you doing back there? And he said, I'm looking at your tree. And I said, why? And he said, well, I'm checking to see if it has emerald ash borer. And I said, what is that? And he says, the disease with the bugs and that type of thing. And I said, well, what do you think? And he said, yeah, you got it. And I'm going to tag your tree. I'm going to get a notice from the park board, and they're going to tell you you have 60 days to cut this tree down. I just got this house, a week ago, and you were already showing up. Proceeded to, tag spray the tree, and then I think within a week or so, I got a notice. So it turned out to be a big specialty tree because it needed to have special equipment to break down the tree in trunk and then kind of lift it up to wherever the truck was to the yard. If they had dropped it, they'd have crushed the house. Then it was the pressure of getting the tree cut down and having to get a list from the city to find a person to put a bid. And this is some whimsical number. Somebody said 4,000, somebody said 10, somebody said 11. So we started going into 3, 4, 5 months of me not knowing what's going on. They came back, the park board came back again and tagged the tree in the front yard. Why didn't you tag it in the first place? It's a big mess that nobody seemed to be managing, and I still don't think the tree was diseased. It was very stressful. Very, very stressful. There's a lot of pressure to get this tree cut down before they started adding liens and penalties for not doing it. But I had to rely on a system that's not very efficient. It's time of COVID, and I've got all these contractors in the house, and then they're rude. You didn't stick around and talk to me about what you saw or why you're going to do it or why you're not going to do it. Ask me to ask them to put his big specialized equipment in their backyard to reach my tree. And I thought, no, that's not my job. So it took 9 months to get it done. So there were 3 trees that were cut down. Yeah, about $6,500. And then there's some administration fees and there's interest. No one ever offered me the option to treat my tree because it would cost me $200 maybe a year to treat my tree, and you would treat the tree for 2 to 3 years before they made a decision to cut it down. It seems like white people got that information, but it doesn't seem like black people got that information, or other people of color didn't get the information. Just things was really weird about how it went. And then I realized I never really got a bill. It was like, oh, here's an estimation. I never got anything that actually said the tree was diseased. No indication that they had tested anything. It looked like he used his finger, like his nails, like his fingernails or scratches. I'm thinking the ash tree bark is pretty rough. It's pretty tough. So I don't know what he used to scrape off a piece and realized my property taxes already started going up. So yeah, it's already on my property taxes. Right now I've paid a couple thousands on my property tax, so I still owe like 3 or 4 more on my property tax for this tree. It's 5 years and not a lien. Had to get involved with the utility company. They come out, they cut off your stuff, which meant my neighbors on both sides didn't have power. My house is all electric, so we didn't have any lights. Plumbing got bad again. I believe my house has shifted based on the upset of this pulling out the tree. So just it's a lot of things that are not right over here. The tree is just a big warning sign. Something's wrong. I did have a project with a group of scientists and environmentalists at the U of M. Stories didn't get gathered. People didn't get asked. People weren't educated. So I came up with the idea that we can do community sessions, listening sessions, but have them come in with what does this bug look like? So they brought in the dead bugs, the life cycle of this beetle. They brought in different pieces of bark and trees that showed you in great detail of the damage that's done to the tree and how the tree dies. It was one of the best things I have done working in community as far as organizing, trying to get stuff going on the north side so people can keep their money in their community. I believe as an organizer, I basically am a person that's known as a problem solver. I tend to do the more plotting things like we still need childcare, mothers still need to have coins for the laundromat. So my thing is more organizing around mothering and looking at the invisible. I don't ever stop being a mother. I don't ever stop teaching. So I'm always thinking about women and children. I'm always thinking about how do they get the resources they need, and being the voice when mothers specifically are not invited to the tables. So it's a lot of things that happen, and I know the impact, like because we don't have the canopy of the trees. The tornado took out trees, and now people are taking out these ash trees. I would like to have my money back because I've done more work than they've done. I'd like to see some more stuff in charge with making sure this doesn't happen to anybody else. I'd like to see some ways of doing it. I want to make sure these pieces of people are licensed. I want them to come out with some information when they're scratching on your tree or whatever. They give you some evidence that what they're saying. I just don't take their word for it. It's like some invisible person said, "Oh, yeah, your tree's not good," and yet there's no way for me to fight against it because nobody seemed to have anything in place to do that.